Hello everybody, I am Mare. This is World Goth Day 2024. I know a bunch of people online, mostly all my friends, are impatiently waiting for this video. I had a lot of digging through things to do. You might see a whole bunch of videos today on World Goth Day, which is May 22nd. Where should we start? I'm Mare. I've been gothy since I was a little kid. I have a stack of pictures to prove it. I have many pictures of me being very spooky and weird. Yes, there I am. I think I was 15 here. Oh, nothing's changed. I have been going through all of my archives. I am, I guess what you would call an original goth, but not really because I am not from England. Let's talk about World Goth Day first, and then we'll talk a little bit about my history with goth, and then we're just gonna stumble down memory lane with some of my cool stuff that I have from my life as a weirdo. World Goth Day. In May 2009, a radio station in Great Britain was discussing music subcultures. Goth music DJ Crow Britannia and Martin Oldgoth created World Goth Day. They decided to fall on May 22nd, began in the UK and is now celebrated throughout the world. So the way I learned about goth was really when I was a kid. I wasn't even driving yet. I was like 14, 15, 16, and I was riding my bike up to this record store. And there was a really cool guy who worked there, and I had the biggest crush on him. And he was more new wave, if you know what new wave was. Now, new wave in 1983 to 85, it was very like, he was like the Depeche Mode kind of guy, you know, that kind of thing. Very cool guy, really sweet. God, I forgot his name. It's terrible. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway, I had the biggest crush on him, and he was so sweet because I was literally a kid. I was like 14 or 15, had a crush on him. And I was so lucky back then. He was not a creeper. There were not as, I don't know, is it just me? There were not as many creepy bad guys back then. And I mean, there were some bad ones, trust me. But he was like, you're adorable, you're cute, but you're way too young for me. And I was like, I had the biggest crush on him. He was so cute. Oh my God. He looked like he could have been in Depeche Mode. Anyway, the great thing about him is he kind of just took me under his wing as a friend, and he introduced me to all this amazing music. I wish I knew more about him and where he was today. I would love to thank him because he really introduced me to first the subculture of like new wave. I got into like Adam and the Ants and the new romantic stuff. And then that kind of tumbled into the goth stuff, and I learned about the Bat Cave. And the Bat Cave was a very cool bar that I was literally, I'm gonna look it up right now. Let's see, Bat Cave Club. Yeah, and I'm doing this in real time. I don't have to, it's been a busy week. I haven't even been home for a week from being out of town. Okay, the Bat Cave was a weekly club night in London's Soho district from 1982 to 1986. The club is considered the birthplace of Southern English goth subculture and a key player in the 80s goth movement. So I heard about the Bat Cave and I had seen things about it. It was a dark and glamorous club that played a variety of genres, including glam rock, new wave, gothic rock, post-punk, synth pop. Synth pop, that's what that guy like introduced me to, is a lot of that. Post-industrial, no wave, and death rock. It was popular destination for Susie Sue, Bauhaus, Nick Cave, Robert Smith, Nick Fiend, Alien Sex Fiend, Andy Sex Gang for Sex Gang Children, and Ian Asprey of Southern Death Cult. The club's stark glamour and graveyard aesthetic helped define the gothic subculture. The term Batcaver was coined to describe fans of the original gothic rock music. Batcave fans would wear batwing coffin necklaces to differentiate themselves from other goth clubs. I heard about it through this guy, and they would get magazines at this record store that were like British music magazines and stuff, and I saw articles about it. I fell in love with everything about it. And I said, why am I in the United States? I should be in London, and I should be at the Batcave. But I was a child, unfortunately, and I could not go there. So 1982 to 86, and that was about the time that I learned about it. I think it kind of trickled over to the United States about 1984-ish. And I was from Metro Detroit, so that's about the time I started hearing about it. By the way, this is my dining room behind us. On my Instagram, I did a little bit of a reveal of my gothy home here. My husband was a goth as well, but we didn't meet until we were 30 years old, interestingly. We went to all the same concerts. We both went to Alien Sex Fiend, we went to Skinny Puppy, and this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, like as they were playing Sisters of Mercy. We saw the same Sisters of Mercy shows. We saw Two Dark Park, Skinny Puppy. We saw Alien Sex Fiend at the City Club in Detroit. We were both there. It was so crazy. We used to go to the same bar. It was called Bookies in Detroit. We went to Bookies all the time, and he was actually there. And he said, "Oh, I remember the basement of Bookies, Pink Flamingos was playing." And I said, "Yeah, that was mine and my roommate's VHS tape of Pink Flamingos that we brought that night because my friend worked at Bookies in Detroit. I was his roommate, and we lived in Palmer Park right behind Bookies in Detroit. So I was a Bookies person. I drove Rob, the DJ, crazy because all I did was ask for him to play Sisters of Mercy constantly, and he wanted to strangle me. He's like, "Yes, I'll play it. Leave me alone." And I'd be playing Nitzer Ebb, and I'm like, "No, stop playing this. It's too deep, deep. I want to hear Sisters." I drove him nuts. I also started playing music when I was in third grade. I started playing violin, and I was always like kind of weirdo kid. I have, like I said, I have a bunch of pictures and stuff. They're not necessarily in order, but here's one of me when I was I was 5 years old. I was like a little Wednesday Addams and already looking like a spooky kid. And you can't tell, but this shirt was bright red. So I had this like black hair and this bright red shirt. I was always a little weirdo. This is me when I was 12. Oh my God, in Florida, looking like a spooky little cranky kid. Now, I graduated in 1987. I am 55 now. And yes, that is me. And I think I was about 12 or 13 here. Hey, no tattoos. It's so weird to see my arms, but I had like the dark spooky makeup on and like the hair and oh my God. My parents took me to Florida and I'm like sulking around. This was in high school. Oh my God. Now this is where we get embarrassing. Okay. This is where we get a little bit embarrassing and I'm not even sorry. I am not afraid to share these. I'm sharing them. Oh yeah, we're going there. Part of the reason I wanted to do my video a little differently, you might be seeing a whole bunch of World Goth Day videos and people talking about, oh, let's do goth makeup. Let's put together a goth outfit. Being a Gen Xer and being into goth since like the we'll say mid 80s. I mean, 83, 84, 85. I graduated in 1987. By then I was full on in 10th grade in 1985. I was going to school. I had this black leather belt. It had handcuffs on it. I still have that belt. I should have pulled that out. The good thing about being me is that I don't throw away anything. So I have all of this crap from my entire life. My husband's like, "You have so much stuff." And this is why, because I can actually share all this. This is me in 1985. Oh my God. We did not have all the crazy hair and makeup stuff. I couldn't even really, I had to be careful, with what I was doing with my hair. I would push it. This was pushing it. I actually dyed my hair red. It was kind of faded here, but I think this was 1984, 85, something wait, it might've been earlier than that. Again, I look so weird with the no tattoos, but yeah, black shirt. I had a black sleeveless t-shirt and note, very Robert Smith-esque, we didn't wear a lot of makeup. And that's a thing too. I was talking to my niece Mads, who is a little goth, and I'm so happy that I have nieces in my family carrying on the weirdo tradition. Kate is not so much goth, but Kate is into the crystals and the tarot and tattoos and really into piercings now. Congratulations, Kate, on your new piercings and tattoo. Kate lives down in Texas, and Kate was my first niece that was born. So it's kind of cool. I was always the black sheep of the family and always the weirdo. And they were like, "What is wrong with you?" Yeah, this was what was wrong with me. So it was 1985. So Mads was saying, you really should talk about how there wasn't all this, everybody does this crazy goth makeup now. No, this is what I was wearing. This was goth back then. And here's another one. I always talked about this in past videos where, yeah, if you look at the eyeliner, I did the black eyeliner on my eyes, a little bit of blush. I used to do bigger wings. This one I did, but my mom and dad were like, "Okay, calm it down, bring it down." I think there was no picture of me in my yearbook because I refused to just look head on in the camera. Here's my graduation pictures and looking very much like kind of a weirdo. I mean, I didn't Yeah, that's me, believe it or not. Look how skinny I was. Oh my God. Everybody said I looked like Molly Ringwald, which was really funny. I got that all the time. You look like Molly Ringwald. I'm like, yeah, yeah. I hated that our gowns were white, and I was so mad. I'm like, why can't we wear black gowns? Why are we wearing these white gowns? They were terrible. Here's a good one. This is fun. This is when I went to see Love and Rockets. Love and Rockets' first US tour was in 1985 when Ball of Confusion came out. Oh my God. I absolutely loved it. 1988 was oh my God, they played at Royal Music Theater with the Mighty Lemon Drops. Holy crap. I can't even believe it was that long ago. Oh my God. So there's me. This was a joke picture, kind of. This was me getting ready to go see Love and Rockets. And I believe this was the 1985 or 86 tour, I think. Here, soak it in. Soak in the whole thing. I'm holding a can of I'm holding a bottle of hairspray, and I'm wearing my friend Chris's jacket. But that was me going in, I believe it was 1985, to see Love and Rockets. And the cool thing was, who is that? You can tell that. Do the stupid smile. Yeah, that's me. But still, like, you look at the makeup, and it was like I had very smoky eyes. Like super smoky eyes, little Susie-esque, very Robert Smith, giant hair, black lipstick. And that was about it. I was wearing one Ankh earring because that was the thing. You had to be wearing one Ankh earring or you weren't really gothy back then. Oof. The cool thing was we knew the manager, and I got to hang out upstairs with them. And this is my ancient leather jacket from the 80s. It's hard to see, but this is Daniel Ash's signature right there. This is Kevin Haskins. And this says, the Bubble Men are coming, Daniel Ash, Kevin Haskins. And they wrote all over it. There's actually stuff on my sleeves and everything. It says Sorted X right here. It's hard to see, but wait. Oh, there's Daniel Ash, there's Kevin Haskins, and this says, the Bubble Men are coming. One of my prized possessions. This was my brother Walt's motorcycle jacket. It's really beat up now. I had painted it. All the paint is like chipping off. I had these like roses and symbols and all this cool like Celtic knotwork stuff all over it. I did hang out upstairs after the concert in the dressing room, and I got to hang out with them, which was very cool. Daniel Ash, my first thought was, oh my God, he's so short. Because he was standing right in front of me. He walked right up to me. He's standing right in front of me. And me looking like this. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of was doing the Daniel Ash hair and everything. He was standing right in front of me, and all I remember is like, he was only a little bit taller than me. I'm like, he's so short. That was my impression. Kevin Haskins was such a doll. He was like the cutest guy in the world. He's so sweet. David J took off and bolted out of there early. I think my dog is snoring. Yeah, she is. If you're hearing weird squeaky noises. What is going on back here? Are you okay, ma'am? If you're gothy, you have to have a Chinese crusted. Right, baby? And she has the ghostly eyes because she's also very much blind. This is Luna Bun, aka the iconic bun. Goth girl. Yeah, are you a goth girl? Happy World Goth Day, Luna Bun. How you doing, baby? Want to go on the couch? Do you want to go on the couch? Let's go on the couch. Oh, so here's my skinny puppy jacket, by the way. This is from 2014, but I decided to wear this because I did see them at the Too Dark Park tour a trillion years ago, but I was so broke back then, I didn't even buy anything from that concert. I got the ticket, and that's it, and that's all I did. My first gothy boyfriend, he was very cute. And we loved this house with the cool doorways. Yeah, that was my first gothy boyfriend. This picture was spring 1987. Oh my God. He was awesome. We were so spooky. So it was basically me and him, like this was us. That was us in 1987. This is in about 1989. Again, like not a lot of choices with clothes back then. I was wearing a black beret. I found this lip service, it was this lip service bra, and I know it was 1989 because I had my little Ankh tattoo. $15 in Ypsilanti, Michigan. But I had this, all I could really afford was I splurged and bought this kind of lip service bra. I bought this black belt, black leggings, some kind of weird boots. I remember bothering my mom like crazy. I wanted black riding boots because Daniel Ash always wore black riding boots. She was like, okay, she got me black riding boots. I was thrilled. Here's another one of me from when I was a little kitty. I think I was about 20 in this picture. Note, that was my goth makeup back then. And I was wearing like red lipstick in this instead of black. And I think, but I did have like the wingy eyeliner on and the eyebrows. And I think this was a family thing. I was going to something, so I didn't go like totally over the top, but I was still being a little gothy. So there's that one. I had to throw this in there because I was 3 years old in this picture and I wanted to be Casper. I didn't want to be something cute. I wanted to be Casper. And this actually says 10/31/72, Halloween, age 3 3/4. So I was almost 4 years old and I loved everything spooky and I wanted to be Casper. I absolutely was obsessed with the Addams Family. I blame the Addams Family, really, for basically all my weirdness. This is 1987. This was my other senior picture and that's about as normal as I was willing to get for a senior picture. I was wearing a black and green velvet shirt. Sorry, it's hard to focus it, but yeah, that's my senior picture. It actually says 87 right there. I had to make my makeup a little more normie. I didn't do the really big wings. When I was 16, started playing bass, and one of the reasons I started playing bass was I said violin is not cool enough. My first band was a Sisters of Mercy cover band, which was kind of funny. And the funniest thing about that was we never actually played anywhere. We never left the basement because you know what? Back then, nobody wanted to hear a Sisters of Mercy cover band. Like, try and find a show anywhere. No one wanted to hear that, which was really funny. This is me at Christmas. This is how I dress for family Christmas. And I believe this was probably in like 1984. And there I am in a full-length red velvet robe. And again, not a lot of jewelry and choices and things, but that was me in about 1984. Oh my God, with the crazy hair and crazy makeup. And that was about as normie. What did I have on my hands? Oh, I had a chain around my hand right there. And that was my first dog, Rusty. She was awesome. Rusty won. So yeah, that was me being spooky in like 1984 at Christmas with the family. This was in about 1990. And again, like a little bit of crazy hair. I was growing out the mohawk. Still not the craziest makeup. It wasn't so much the crazy makeup back then. This was that was Halloween at that time. I did this really creepy, like I actually made this mask. This was all homemade. Again, you couldn't buy anything like this. That was actually my hair. That was after I grew my hair out. It was all black and it was very Susie Sue, insane. And she kind of inspired this, but this was about 1989, I think. Me on a swing, being a weirdo in my gothy clothes. This one's still my favorite picture. I blew this up. There is me being spooky with my black hair. And I actually love how I look like that with no makeup. To me, and I was wearing like this, see the chain, and I had like the long black skirt on and that shirt. And that was about as gothy as I could get back then because there just wasn't a lot of choices. But I love this picture. That picture, more than anything, I think this picture like reminds me of like, never forget your roots. That one and this one of my favorites. I did the Patricia Morrison, you know, the crazy Patricia Morrison hair kind of. I really liked this was all extensions and I did those myself and they were wonky and a hot mess, but it worked. But all of this hair, like this was all my hair all the way down to like here. And then I just added these extensions in the bottom. But again, like dark spooky makeup, but nothing really fancy or crazy. And oh my God, my waist was like 18 inches. It was insane. Give anything to have that waist back. Here's my friend Chris. That's why I went to, this picture was taken in summer of 1987 too. So that was Chris. We went to high school together. She was 1 or 2 grades below me. And she was also like kind of strange and spooky. And we hung out together. Oh, I entered this in the 1988 Metro Times photo contest because it was just such a cool photo. And she was so spooky looking. So this was my friend Chris I hung out with all the time. We went to clubs. We snuck in clubs, I should say. Snuck in a lot of clubs. We got let into clubs because we would really dress up and go all out like we did. I was in my cover band for a little bit, but we never did anything. And then I found in the Metro Times, I saw an ad looking for a bass player, and this is a picture from like one of my first gigs. This was at Finney's in Detroit. If anybody from Detroit remembers Finney's Pub, this was at Finney's Pub, and that was me playing bass at one of my first shows with my band, my second band, my first official band. And then I met Jamie, and Jamie and I became bandmates, and the rest is history. And now Jeremy and I are doing music together. But I have so many pictures. God, this is ridiculous. I have so many pictures of me. Here's somebody's in this picture. There's me at Alvin's Bar in Detroit a bazillion years ago. That was a show at Alvin's we did. And that's me on stage at that show. That was my Fender Jazz bass, which is currently being repaired. I think that was maybe circa 1992 or 3. I can tell the age of the photos by the bass I'm playing, which is really funny. And that's when I went with the long blonde hair. And I think that was kind of inspired by Darcy from Smashing Pumpkins, but still wearing my all black. God, this is me in like 1991 or something. Magic Bag 06, Alvin's 2004. So 2004, 2006. This is just a really funny picture of us, like Stephanie dancing. That's me, and Jeremy is on the floor right there playing guitar. And that's Jamie singing. So our shows were crazy. This is probably one of my favorites because this is when we opened for Thrill Kill Cult. And that's what I was wearing at that show. And I got a picture of me and Levi together. The bass player, don't know where I put it. I looked everywhere. It's here somewhere. But there's a picture of the band. And look, Jeremy was a puppy. There's Jamie, that's V. He's not in the band anymore. It's been a long time. But that's Jeremy, that's Jamie, my besties. That's my friend Jeremy. We have just started doing music again. So you need to stay tuned for Jeremy, our project. And Jeremy hit me up last year and he was like, do you want to do an old school goth project? And I'm like, nah. And then all of a sudden this year I was like, you know what? Yeah, I do. So let's do it. Okay, let's start flying through some of my other memorabilia so this isn't too long. This I treasure. This is my husband's original leather jacket that he wore to bookies. And I always say, I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I went to Bookies one night, and I believe it was the night that Pink Flamingos was playing. There was a guy standing in the line to get beer in front of me at the bar. He had black hair almost down to his butt, like middle of his back. And he turned around and looked at me, and he had these like piercing eyes. And I looked at him, and I instantly was like, I'm in love with this guy standing in front of me. And I believe it was the guy who is now my husband. Because he's like, he said he was there that night. He was wearing this jacket. And I recognize, I will never forget his eyes because he has these really gorgeous, like really light eyes. And he had the long black hair. He dyed his hair black. So it's so weird to think that I saw him at Bookies. And I tell him, I'm like, I will go to my grave swearing that that guy that turned around and looked at me at Bookies. And I want to say it was like 1988. Maybe. So this was his leather jacket. His, on the other hand, is in perfect condition. And I don't think this cross has ever come off of here. So I love this. My goal is to fit really comfortably in this. So we're working on that. A couple other things I have that are cool. Had this forever. This is like little Bauhaus scrapbook thing. So this is just this like crazy scrapbook thing of Bauhaus. I've had this like my whole life and never lost it somehow. It's very interesting that I have moved a million times. Same thing with this. I special ordered this from the UK, and this is the Sisters of Mercy version. And look at this. Oh my God. And this is just like straight up like paper. And look at the printing. It's just so like, oh my God. It's so like old school, like just very messy. Like everything is all over the place. Wait, where's that one page I just had? Where it's just like all these different articles about them. Like this. What is this? What is this layout? I don't know. But it's just all of their stuff in here. And then you get to the back and they actually had the Sisters of Mercy have formed the mission. And it's right there. And then there's Ghost Dance. So I've had this forever too. Oh my God, this thing. So it's all these articles about them. This was very cool. This was a gift. A guy I was dating at the time went to a Comic-Con type of thing or a book signing or something. And everybody said that I looked like, back then, I looked like the girls in Love and Rockets. That was very much my aesthetic. So he had a picture of me and he asked the Love and Rockets guys to draw a picture of me. And that's the picture of me that they drew, and that's their signatures, which is 1992. They signed, this one's 89, this is 92. Oh my God, I am all over the place. So this is so cool. This has remained in the bag. I've had this since 1992. We'll never part with this. This will go to my grave with me, or possibly in my will to one of my nieces or something. But yeah, I absolutely treasure this. The fact that he went there and he got this signed for me and he had them draw a picture of me was like so cool. Speaking of so cool things, I can show this. If you know this crazy writing. This crazy writing, do not bend all over here. This is one of my favorite things. I'm trying to see, has Royal Mail postage on it. This is from June 9th, 1987. This is a 2-page letter that Peter Murphy wrote me. And right there, just so you know, I'm not making it up. Thank you for your letter that I received during my last tour of the USA. It has taken me a long time to answer you, I'm aware. But as usual, there are so many letters, not all answered, just a selected few. I literally cried when I got this. There is no fan club as yet, won't be for some time until I can see a real need for information other than records themselves that needs to go out to you good people. Once again, thanks for kind thoughts. Keep good, lots of love, Peter Murphy. I wrote to him and I said, he went solo, and I said, are you going to do any kind of like fan club thingy, anything? Because fan clubs were big back then. Guys, the 80s, fan clubs everywhere. So this is the picture he sent me and signed, and my name is at the top, and I guess I could put the mayor, and that's the picture he sent me. So yes, I did get to meet Peter Murphy. I handed him the letter. That's how he got my letter. I met him at his first solo tour after Love and Rockets was doing Love and Rockets. And remember when Peter Murphy released like Indigo Eyes and all that, and like he did a tour, and I went to see him again. I knew the manager of the club because I went to all these clubs, and he's like, Peter Murphy's not going to be hanging out in the dressing room. He's not going to be backstage. He's going to be in and out of here. But he goes, what I'll do is I'll tell you where to stand and I'll steer you towards him. So he kind of steered me towards him. He was so sweet. He gave me a big hug and I kissed him on the cheek and I gave him my letter. And it took, as it said, took a while, but yeah, I got this in 87. I believe the tour was in like 86 or something. I was driving, but I think I was still in high school. I don't know, I'll have to look. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, I can't show you the front because it has my address on it and my real name, which I'm not showing, but have the original envelope. Other favorite things I have. It's from 1991. This is an original Death Watch from the Sandman, and the thing broke. I have to get it fixed or get a new one. Watch is not working at the moment, but the little skull goes around it. We'll never part with this. Love this. And it actually says black, water resistant, DC Comics Inc. And I believe, yeah, this was like I think this was 1991. This was released. Worth a lot of money now, but not like broken and not in a case. Okay, this is cool. Are you ready? Screw the new movie coming out. This is artwork I did. I actually did this. What this is it's an old piece of pillowcase. And I was very into art. I was a total nerdy artist. Yes, I drew this whole thing. And I drew it from the comic book. It's on a pillowcase. And I used to have it pinned to the back of my blue jean jacket. I had a blue jean jacket that I dyed black. And I had this pinned on the back. Now, the coolest thing about this is that I actually he ties a spent shell in his hair, #1, he says, and I did sign it right here, and that's my writing there, and it says Crow 89. So I made this in 1989, and it used to be pinned on the back of my jacket. I also cannot believe I have never lost this. This is crazy, and I think I'm going to bust this out You guys think I should put this on a jacket again and start wearing it? I think I should, but I'm so worried that I'm going to mess up the artwork. I just realized, look at this cool crow I did down here. Man, I was good at art, wasn't I? Holy crap. Why am I not still doing this? Yeah, so these are actual frames from the original Crow comic. And then we get into, let's see, let's talk about my Swans era. Oh, look. Friday, November 21st, 1997. Clutch Cargoes in Pontiac. I saw the Cramps, and I still have my ticket from this, so that was a cool show. I saw the Cramps twice, actually. 1996, we're getting more into the 90s. After I was in my band, we really got into the Swans, and my niece was not as familiar with the Swans and said, I really need to talk about the Swans. I am Swans person, big time. This is one of my favorite books. It's The Consumer by Michael Gira. He wrote a big letter in there for me, and I developed a very cool friendship with both Jarbo and Michael back in the 90s. He said January 1996 is when he signed this for me, and I read this book over and over and over again. I love this book. It's very disturbing, just FYI. I also have this. I believe Jarbo sent me this. This was 2 stories by M. Gira, MTV and the Cult of the Body and the Idiot, and this is from 1996. And this is how we used to self-publish books in the 90s. This is metallic marker that he drew on the cover, and these are all like kind of one of a kind. It's, you know what I love is it like bled through. Oh my God. He literally typed, like printed this out and printed his stories out and just like put them in this little thing. And they're just 2 Michael Gira stories that I have. He would die if he knew I still had this. I actually messaged him on Facebook, but he's been on tour. But he lives in upstate New York now. And the last time he was in Detroit, my friend Jamie, who is the singer in my band, ran into him. And Jamie got me another signed poster. I have 2 signed Swans posters. One is framed in my bedroom. One's framed in my hallway. And Jamie was telling Michael how I live in the Poconos now. And Michael, they used to live in Georgia, and he was in LA. He was in New York, then LA, then in Georgia. I don't know if Jarbo lived in Georgia. I don't know if he ever did. Now he's in upstate New York. He's like less than 2 hours from me. I think 2 to 3 hours from me. I'm like, I really need to go see Michael Gira, or I told him he needs to come here and visit me because back in the day, this is one of my journals from, I think I started it in like 1980. So is there a date in here? 1993. So it was 1993, I think, 91 to 93. This is a poem I wrote in 1996, and Michael actually signed it because it was something I dedicated to him. It's called Liquid Pleasure, and it said for Michael. And he read it, and he goes, he put to me, with thanks, Michael Gira, because I let him read it when I met him and he hung out. Because Michael Gira from the Swans stayed at our apartment when he did a spoken word tour. Here's my letter from Michael. I save everything I told you. MG, Michael Gira. Dear Mary, Jamie, Jeremy, thank you very much for making my stay in Detroit so pleasant. It was good to get to know you a little, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. Very best, MG. He left this on the table because he had to scoot out, but he stayed with us a couple days in Detroit. Swan sticker. So the coolest thing is I have all these postcards. These are all postcards because Jarbo and I became kind of pen pals. Me and Jarbo from Swans became pen pals of all things. I saw them at a couple of shows. I saw them in Detroit, and then I went to see them in Cleveland, and I got to hang out with them in Cleveland. But yeah, these are all letters from Jarbo. Wanted to thank you for helping out. Oh, this was May 31st, 1996. Wanted to thank you for helping out on MG's trip. Your hospitality is sincerely appreciated. I hope my package arrives safely, underlined. It's very special, as is the woman in the photo. I made this box around 1994. When I came across it recently, I knew it was for you. Please take good care in your life and your music, ex Jarbo. I treasure these things, you guys, because I love the Swans so much, and Jarbo was such an inspiration. Then here's another one about this box. I'm going to show you the box she sent me. Yay, hello. I told her I got it. She said, yay, hello. I wasn't fishing for a compliment. Wanted to make sure you received the box because I was like, oh my God. She wrote so many crazy notes on here. She said, I just want to make sure you received it. Yes, the dirt is quite significant. I'll keep it a mystery, as you say, but here's a clue. It has to do a lot with the photograph of the woman on the box was a friend of mine, the heart and the spiral, not to be gruesome. Hope when you figure out the obvious, but I want to let you know how much I like the gifts. We would send each other things and forth. Love the gifts you sent us. I've worn that top so many times now. Love Jarbo. I sent Jarbo this really cool, it was one of those like tattoo shirt tops, but it had like spirals all over it, and she loves spirals. So this is what Jarbo sent me. And there is a picture of a woman on the box, and there's the spiral, and there's the rose. And what I believe this is graveyard dirt that Jarbo sent me from someone's grave who is very important to her, which I think is very cool. And she said, you know, she made a joke about it being gruesome, but if you know the Swans and you know me and you know gothy stuff, this is not gruesome at all. I absolutely adore this. And she wrote Jarbo 1990 on the bottom. And she said she's had it for a while and she forgot she had it. And when she found it, she thought of me and wanted me to have it. So this is an actual one-of-a-kind piece of Jarbo art that's really important to her. So wherever, I wish I could find her again. I mean, seriously, letter from Jarbo, little flyer when Gira did. So this was his spoken word tour. It was at Zoots. It was Tuesday the 21st. And this is when he stayed at our apartment. And this is Swan's Young God Records. And it's, Jarbo wrote me a big, huge letter. Wrote me a big, huge letter on this, and it goes around the whole outside. She's so funny. She always wrote me like the artsiest letters. If you don't know the Swans, this is Michael and this is Jarbo. This is like when I saw them. So this was 1995 was this article. And there is Michael and Jarbo right there. And they were like a huge influence on me and Jamie with our music. So, and this was from the Metro Times, actually. I saved all of this. And this is an interview with Michael. And, oh, this was from 1995. This was from the same thing. Lords of Acid, Thrill Kill Cult, and God Lives Underwater played in Pontiac. And I saved that. And yeah, and I have basically just a whole bunch of, oh my God, there's more. Wait, there's more stuff. I have the postcard from Brap. Street date 4/30/96. Skinny puppy. I saved that. I can't believe I still have this. Michael always wrote really weird letters. This is a huge letter that Michael wrote me. So this was a Michael Gira letter that he wrote me. There it is on the bottom. MG. I have saved everything. And he put thanks for your kind thoughts on the back. So this was God. What did he say? Thank you so much for the book. You're very thoughtful. It's good to hear from you. Sorry it's taken me so long to write. Thank you for your kindness and hospitality when I was in Detroit, and for the elegant journal you gave me. My only excuse is my state of being perennially overworked and overwrought, exhaustion made overwhelming by my chronic disorganization, ! But anyway, my time in Detroit at yours and Jamie's house was truly wonderful. I'm glad I had the chance to get to know you a little. You're very gracious and generous to have me. I hope things are going well with your band too. Tell Jamie I enjoyed his exuberant company immensely, the little time he had in his overburdened schedule. Hope to see you both in Detroit soon. You'll be on the list, of course. The very, very best, MG. Yeah, we were always on Swan's guest list, which was very cool. So absolutely treasure this with all my heart. So the last thing I'm going to show you is this. This was from when I got really spooky and gothy in like when I was about like 15, 16, 17-ish. I think I was like 16 or 17. And my mom wrote this to me. This is my mom's writing. My mom is no longer with us. We lost her a few years ago, but it says, to brighten your day. My mom bought me roses. And my mom and dad were really struggling, especially back then. Like nobody was goth. I was like literally like the only goth in my whole area. I didn't know anybody. Like it was very, very lonely, very weird. Did I get bullied? Yeah, a lot. I've talked about that in other videos. This isn't about bullying. This is World Goth Day, my history. So, but here's the great thing and why I really think that I am where I am today and I'm okay and I love my life and I still love being a weirdo. And somewhere my mom is going, yep, that's my little weirdo. She's still out there. My mom wrote this when I was a teenager and gave me a rose. It says, don't fully I'm going to cry. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And okay, this is supposed to be a crying video. For all you goth kids out there, maybe if you're like a goth kid who's like, my parents don't understand me. I'm 55 now. I came from a very normie family. All my brothers were super normal. My brother Jim was a little bit of a hippie. I was much younger than my 4 older brothers. My mom and dad had my brothers really close together. Then they waited. So my brothers are actually freaking boomers, and I'm a Gen X. So I'm Gen Xer, and my brothers are more boomers because they were born like, when I was born, my oldest brother was like graduating high school. That's how big of a difference there is between us. And my brothers came like boom, 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 one after the other. But I'm 55 and I'm the kid. I'm still the baby sister. I'm still the little youngling, little young crazy kid. I think they're finally, too, my family is like they're so much more accepting of me now than they ever were. And I think they kind of go, oh my God, it really wasn't a phase. And I can tell you, like, if people are telling you it was a phase, for some people it might be a phase, but for others of us, it's clearly not a phase. I was always the weirdo of the family. And even though I talked to my dad about this last year, because I reminded my dad is still alive, he's 94, I'm 55. And I told him, we were talking about, I told him last year how much I got bullied because he never really understood. And I said, do you remember when I came downstairs? I think I was like 16 or 17. Came downstairs and I had full goth makeup on. I had black lipstick. I had my cheeks all like hollowed out with like black eyeshadow or gray eyeshadow. Super black wingy eyes. And I had the black hair and it was all over the place and whatever. And I went to go get something out of the refrigerator. And my dad looked at me and he said, why do you want to make yourself ugly all the time? And I did you don't understand. Like I said, there's beauty in darkness. You don't see the beauty that I see in dark things. And that's what I fell in love with. That's why I'm not worried about wearing makeup in this video. What I fell in love with was the lifestyle, the music, the literature, and the finding all the beauty in things that most people are afraid of, and the dark things. To me, that's what goth is. If you want to ask, it's not like Susie eyeliner and it's not black lipstick. It's finding the beauty in things that normally terrify people or that they find spooky or crazy. And so last year I had the opportunity to sit with my dad and say, do you remember when you said that to me? And he said, he was horrified. He goes, oh my God, I said that to you. And I said, yeah. I've carried that around with me my whole life. I will never forget when you said that I looked ugly, that I made myself look ugly. And he felt really terrible. And he apologized. My 94-year-old dad apologized to me and said, I'm so sorry I said that to you. What a horrible thing for me to say. And I said, Dad, I've carried it with me my whole life, but it's not a bad thing, because he made me realize that people are going to see you and they're going to see this as what's wrong with you. Why is it? That's ugly. That's ugly. And it's like, then that's your opportunity to say, there's beauty in darkness. There's beauty in death and decay, and got these spooky things in graveyards and dark literature and vampires and all that stuff. Like, there's so much beauty in it. And everybody wants to look at pretty, shiny, happy. And it's like, well, if you want to be obvious about it, okay. But I'm like, no, you know what? I prefer to find the beauty in the darkness. And that's always been the way that I've been. I've always liked dark stuff. I've always liked creepy stuff. I don't know. I grew up loving bugs. When I was 3, 4, 5 years old, I was constantly bringing bugs in the house. And I was saving bugs. And my mom is like, why are you I would be outside picking up worms off the sidewalk when I was like 3 or 4 years old and putting them in the dirt. So like, I don't want them to die. I would bring in buckets of bugs to my mom. I was like a little Wednesday Addams. My mom's like, what's wrong with you? I was like only 3 to 4 years old at the time. And I used to just carry around like buckets with bugs in them. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. So, but that's not most people. So, I mean, I never was that normal kid. And I was always a loner. I loved to read. I was always obsessed with books and reading. I do have a few books here I was going to show you guys, but I think I'm going to save that for a different video. I'm going to tease you with them. I have 3 books. Oh, they're right here. And this that my friend Jamie just gifted me very recently. a gory demise. And I have Encyclopedia Gothica, and I have Goth the History by Lowell Tolhurst, co-founder of The Cure. But we're going to do a book review. We're going to be doing these because I am doing books more and more. I started in April, and May just kind of got away from me, so we're going back into books, and we're going to do some Goth books next. So anyway, my parents didn't understand me, but they were always supportive. And you're not, the worst thing to do is if somebody doesn't understand your thing with Goth is don't get mad. Just try to educate them if you can. And that's what I did. It took what, 30, 40 years, something like, I don't know, however long it took. It took like 40 years, but I finally told my 94-year-old dad why I like what I like, and he understood, and he listened to me, and he said, I understand, I see it, I understand it. And it was so cool, and it was just such a cool thing. My mom always wanted me to be a pretty little girl and always wanted me to be girly, so when she ended up having a weirdo gothy daughter, she was like, but she didn't stop me. She didn't want to kill my creativity, so she let me do it. So we're going to end on this note. This was again, from my mom, and it was with flowers when I was a teenager. It says, don't fully understand you, but I know deep down in your heart, you're a beautiful person. Really, honestly love you. So she's, you know, the thing was like, I didn't want to be beautiful on the outside in the traditional way. And that was the thing I told her. I said, I'm challenging people to look beyond my face. Inside, who you are inside is what matters. What you look like on the outside, screw that. Because there's all these gatekeepy people who are like, that's not goth makeup. You can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. To me, this is goth right here. What my mom said. Don't fully understand you, but I know deep down in your heart, you're a beautiful person. Really, honestly love you. So my mom saw through the mask I was putting on with my goth makeup and the scary clothes and the chains. And by the way, back then, there was really no jewelry. There was no goth jewelry. The way I made goth jewelry, I went to the pet store and I bought dog leashes. Dog chains, dog leashes. I would like put dog leashes around my arms and stick them and I would clip them together with safety pins. That was the thing I did. I would wear like a dog leash. I would buy dog collars. I would go to the pet store and buy a dog collar because there was like no goth jewelry. So we had to be very creative. But to me, this is the thing. It's like, it's who you are on the inside. And if somebody sees through your goth armor, and I always call it goth armor, you know, that was my armor back then. And I always told my dad I wanted to challenge people to not just judge me on how I looked. I said, I'm so much more than what I look like. And if you can look past that and see the person on the inside, then you're worth knowing. Then you're worthy of us being friends. Then you're worthy of us supporting each other and being together forever and being friends or whatever. And that's really how I kind of go through life. And that's why I'm not going to be on here always wearing goth jewelry and always wearing goth makeup. This is who I am without all of that. And I am to a point where I feel like I don't need to wear all the goth trappings. It's not always about that. It's about who you are on the inside and the way you look at life and death and this world and finding the beauty in the darkness. And that's what I like to do. So anyway, thank you for watching. This has been very long. This has been my personal Eldergoth history. Here's Casper, my Iggy. You don't say. You saying Happy World Goth Day? Casper, my ghost dog. You just woke up, sir. Oh my God, he's so cool. Do it again. Oh my God, the cuteness. We got to end on that cuteness. Happy World Goth Day from me and my ghost dog. Say bye, guys. Ask questions below. Anything you want to know. Life advice on being a weirdo goth. No, just kidding. Don't ask that. I don't know shit. I'm 55. I still don't know anything. I'm out of here with my cute dog. I'll see you the next time. Stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. The link is below in my link tree, and it should be on my, what's that thing called? My banner. You know, wipe your eyes, sir. On my banner. And Jeremy and I are working on a new band. I did a couple of teasers when I was in Detroit. We recorded 2 songs. We recorded one song completely. The second song we're working on. We're working on more songs. I'm going to be going back to Detroit once a month for long enough to record as many songs as we can. I will be doing video stuff. I will be making videos for our band. Am I singing and playing bass? Yes, I am. Lead singer and bass at 55. I dusted off my bass after 14 years to come back and do a goth band. So you better be checking it out. It was specifically also because Jeremy wanted to do it, and also for my niece Mads, who I love very, very, very much with all my heart. If you are an old goth, be sure to follow me. Find me on Instagram, my Eldergoths out there. Please, we all need to find each other. We're all getting up there. We all need to stick together. There's not a lot of us. Also, let's support all the little young goths out there. But to the young goths, no gatekeeping. We freaking hate that. We hate the gatekeeping. We do not stand by the gatekeeping. It was never about gatekeeping. Goth starts in your heart and in your soul, and you express it how you express it. But don't judge other people with how they express or don't express their gothiness. You might meet Michael Gira is one of the gothiest MFers I've ever met in my life, and he does not look gothy. He has none of the trappings. Michael Gira from Swans is a gothy MFer. That's all I'm gonna say. Go listen to his voice. Go listen to his words. Listen to the song Failure by the Swans. Look up a song called Failure by the Swans, Failure. Go listen to White Light from the Mouth of Infinity. They were from our time, and Gira's still out there doing stuff. Jarbo's still out there doing stuff separately. They're long separated. But yeah, go find them and check them out. Love them. And other favorite right now, I've just been listening to tons of old Fields of the Nephilim because they're so underrated. I found out Carl McCoy, the singer of the Nephilim, is still doing music today. So he's still out there rocking too. White hair, big white hair, beard, still looks gorgeous. I found one picture of him, how he looks now. Still a hottie. Anyway, thanks for watching. And now I really have to go. This is getting way too long. Happy World Goth Day. This has been Auntie Nightmare telling her life story basically in one video. I'm not doing this again next year, you guys. I'll do something else next year. Next year, it'll be something with my band. We'll do something with my band next year. Maybe we'll do a live show or something on YouTube. We'll play live on YouTube or something because I can't go through this again. I'll just be like, refer to last year's video where I told my life story. Okay, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Stay spooky and break out your black lipstick and your eyeliner or not. Look, I'm not wearing any. I have my piercings. Got the piercings, but no makeup because I wanted to talk about how goth is not always about what's on your face. It's what's in here. Bye for now.